Welcome to Artfest Ontario and our online event. I'm Lory MacDonald and you're joining me here. I'm your host and we are on day 5 of our online event for the outdoor Toronto at the Distillery show. And as you know, we're not there. We're not able to have our event this year. It's been postponed, and so we thought we'd try something new. So hopefully some of you are coming on board, haven't seen us before. Welcome. And welcome back to everybody who's coming to see us yet again. Really appreciate it. I know everybody's really busy and you got lots of things you can be doing besides hanging out with us, but I'm so really pleased that you've joined us for a little while about Artfest. So today we're going to be talking about some artists again and profiling some artists, talking about their work, some of the struggles with selling the work right now with the online sales and all their events being canceled. We're going to talk about have the kids activity as usual. Include something for the kids. And I have a feature interview with Lori Francescutti with her jewelry business. So that's going to be on in a few minutes too. So welcome. And the first step up is I'm just going to take you over to our website here and share the screen. Hang on, just takes a sec to get it set up. And I'm just going to, if you can imagine, walking around the distillery. And this is what you would normally see. So a beautiful day at the distillery, a little bit overcast. There's Merganser furniture, Mark Cooper with his honey. People are just starting to flow into the show as we get ready for the day. All the artists are set up.
You want to go inside?
And doing and selling. So this is the main thing about the Artfest shows. People come there to buy art. Well, how do we transcend that now, where we can't go to events and the artists want to sell their work? Beautiful, beautiful work. Look at those. Those are photographs that are printed on acrylic. We have that mirror finish. This Divine Jewelry. Tracy and Carol. Hi guys. Beautiful jewelry. We have fine jewelry, gold and silver. From the Ottawa area. We'll talk about them in a couple days too. Brucewood Handmade Cookie Company. Okay. Can't tell you enough about Mark's cookies. They're so delicious. They're not just sweet and like corporate savory. And nippy pie cheddar and spicy things. Mark gives us lots and lots of samples, so generous. And he's one of our favorite exhibitors. He's a great guy. And I'll be talking to him about his business, and I think he'll be on the interview live.
Well,
Robert,
it takes a while.
Boards.
Right on.
Hi. How's it going?
Hey, beauties.
I love you,
Hello.
Well,
Look
thank
good
you.
as usual. Without the hat today, you have such beautiful hair, eh?
No, it's
Oh, thanks. There we go. So it's going to give a bit of a, put my camera back on here. It gives you a little bit of an overview of what it's like at the Distillery District. Beautiful place to be. We love it there. The artists love it there. Everybody loves it at the Distillery District. It's just an amazing place to be. And they've got, you know, the same issue going on right now with that most of us do. Most of their stores are closed. Some of them are open, and some of them are going to be opening up, I think, very, very soon. So we can all head down there and enjoy the Distillery District. So, you know, you see people doing the shows, and you wonder how they got there. The artists, you know, when you're a kid and you're thinking about careers and what you're going to do when you grow up, you don't usually, I know, think about being an artist. I don't think most people do. You know, the standard thing is always think, I'm going to be a teacher, I'm going to be a policeman, I'm going to be a lawyer, that kind of thing. But as life unfolds and things go on and things change, some people do go to school and get careers in those fields, and then sometimes they end up switching midway and then being having an art career. Being an artist is a lot of fun. It's not for the faint at heart, for sure. It's a lot of work, a lot of challenges, just like, you know, any small businesses, trying to do everything and wearing many hats, you know, making the product and designing your products, your displays, you know, going around to shows. I mean, most of the artists that we know do between 15 to 25 shows a year. So it's a big commitment. And, but it's almost like being on tour, kind of like an art rock star in a way, I'd say, around Ontario. Actually, even across the country, we travel all over the place for shows. And you know, we get to know other artists. It becomes like a family, and you make good friends and create great memories. And every show has its own flavor and special things that you remember. Like, I know the Balls Falls show that happens on Thanksgiving weekend. That's always an artist's favorite, because the volunteers there cook all the artists dinner on Sunday night, and present a beautiful Thanksgiving dinner. So it's just a really nice way. We all get to hang out, visit, and have a fantastic dinner. At Artfest Kingston, we've done a couple of fun things with all the artists. We've actually gone on boat cruises out in the lake with Thousand Island boat tours. Really fun, you know, live music, comedians, fantastic dinner, lots of time to visit. When you're doing your shows and you're working and selling, you're busy, you know, you chat a bit here and there, but it's nice to do something special with the artists. And especially the show in Kingston, for example, Artfest Kingston, it's really a family event. So the artists typically do bring their entire family. You know, they bring their kids, they bring their dog. It has a lot of things going on for all ages. So even if you have a teenager who, let's face it, probably isn't going to want to hang around with mom and dad at a craft show, but you know, the artists do bring their teenagers, do want to come to Artfest Kingston, because there's cool things going on there. We have a group that comes to the festival from Toronto, Shadowland Theatre, and they bring their stilt walking troupe. And so they've been able to actually teach many of the teenage Artfest family kids how to do stilt walking, and adults. It's a lot of fun, and so the kids really like that. And it's pretty amazing. They learn how to stilt walk over a couple days, and then they're actually in the performance on the final day, walking with beautiful costumes on, and really having a lot of fun. So yeah, so one of the families, I'm just going to show you here. I'll just share my screen again. One of the families that comes to Artfest is Pepper Brew. So you can see here, Pepper Brew makes these amazing, beautiful hot sauces with Liz, and you know, she comes with Clint and with Cyan and with Caden. They're there for the whole weekend. I'm just going to go to their blog page here. So it goes right to their website where you can shop. And actually, Cyan now is actually working with Artfest, and she's giving us a hand with running the mural that we do in Kingston. So Artfest likes to try to engage all the young people coming up and give them some work and learn some new skills. And so I'm just going to turn over to, let's just take this off again, this square. Here I am again. Just going to get the next thing up ready. So one of our features today is with jewelry designer Lori Francescutti, and it's Ignis Borealis is her company. And she's quite new. She's new to Artfest, and I love encouraging up-and-coming artists and new exhibitors. I think it's really important I'm always looking for new people and finding exciting new talent. We travel all over Ontario to the shows. Oh, now I just saw a desktop. Okay, so something wrong with my screen. Sorry, what was I? Just a second. My messages coming through. So, yeah, Al and I, we travel around to all the shows, and we're always looking for new artists, new talent, and meeting new people. So that's how we keep our Artfest business or Artfest shows fresh and alive, and give other opportunities to new artists. So we're just going to go over to her website. Just going to make sure I got my share screen on. Okay, I had the wrong button. Is that better? Okay, that looks good. I'm just going to play my interview with Lori and get a chance to talk to her about her jewelry. Hi, Lori. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Welcome to the Artfest online chat. I'm here today with Lori Francescutti. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, that's it.
And I'm Lory MacDonald from Artfest Ontario. So we've been doing an online event, and we were having some guest speakers and doing some interviews with some of the artists that were supposed to be set up at the Distillery District past weekend. But here we are doing it virtually instead. So Lori's a jeweler. And Lori, I see that you graduated from the Ontario College of Art as an artist of many disciplines. But how did you finally choose on metalsmithing and jewelry making as your focus?
Yeah, so my degree from OCAD is in drawing and painting. And that was my sort of method of practice for many years, oil painting specifically. And I was trained sort of classically as a figurative portrait painter. And I always found my relationship to oil paint was a bit of a struggle. It was like a push-pull, and it never really felt like a mode of expression where I could just freely let go and express myself. So, but you know, being an artist, it's hard to not create. And so when I got pregnant 6 years ago with my daughter, her name's Ophelia, and I was living in Africa at the time, and I was actually studying midwifery at that point. So I did sort of a loop-de-loop. I graduated from art school and had gone to live in New York City for a while, and actually worked down there with a woman who made and sold stained glass jewelry. But at that point, it was not my mode of expression. And so, yeah, my daughter was born, and I really wasn't creating much for quite some time. And I sort of thought my life moving forward would be as a midwife. And then I became a single mom before she turned 1. And came back to live at home back in Toronto where I grew up. And when she started kindergarten, I suddenly had time on my hands and decided I was going to buy myself some soldering equipment and tools to make jewelry. I'm really not sure why. I have no background in metalsmithing, like from my OCAD time. I never took a jewelry course there. Really didn't have any experience in soldering at all. And so I bought some metal and decided to give it a go for whatever reason. And it worked. It fell into place. And I've sort of been riding the tiger ever since, because it's come very naturally in a way. And the business grew sort of exponentially in the first year beyond what I had ever expected. So,
see, your pieces are gorgeous. I mean, I look at your pieces and I was surprised when I saw that you fairly recently became a jeweler, really.
Yeah.
And I also noticed your pieces are very organic and have a textured appearance. And
yeah.
How has that happened? That piece of it?
Yeah. So, I fuse that texture on. So when I was teaching myself with the metal, I was sort of watching some YouTube videos and just experimenting with different things, and had a lot of failures, had a lot go wrong, but those were great learning experiences. And I had seen a video on YouTube of a woman fusing 2 layers of silver together. So essentially what that means is it's a controlled heating process where you're heating the metal, the silver, you want it all to come to the same temperature at the same time. But because you have different sizes when you're fusing things together, you have to focus the heat strategically so that you don't melt the small pieces before the larger piece heats to the right temperature. So, yeah, so I had watched her doing this video and I thought, oh, that's interesting. So I started experimenting with some of my scrap material, and that's how I ended up with that textured look.
And I love the stones in your work. You're just absolutely stunning. And I always think, well, where do you get stones like that?
Yeah.
And where do those beauties come from?
Yeah. So Instagram is a great resource for a lot of unique materials. So I've sort of pared it down to just a few suppliers at this point. Most of them are in the US. Some of those stones are mined in the States. So a lot of the jaspers that I use are mined in like Oregon region, Nevada, for the turquoise, a lot of Nevada and Arizona. And so, it's mined, the rough is mined there. And then I work with a couple of different American sort of mom and pop situations where they're, family businesses or just individuals that collect the rough and then cut the cabochons themselves. So,
Just a sec.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if you get a shipment of stones in, like for example, like do you get, like when you order stones, you don't get to hand pick the ones.
Yeah, I do.
Oh,
I choose each and every stone individually. It's quite a process, and it can be very time consuming, but I enjoy it so much that it can be a bit of an addiction too. I have way more stones than I could probably ever make with. So, and the collection just keeps growing, but it's fun too. I love like when I work with someone on a custom piece and they'll say, oh, well, I like blue and I like turquoise and then I show them like this whole range of options and they're just like, oh, wow. They get really involved in the process too. So that's fun. Yeah, the stones really inspire the work. Like I do make some pieces that are only silver, but for me, the stones are such a driving force. They really speak to me in terms of what they want and inspire the work. So.
Yeah. So I also, you talk about metalsmithing, I guess, the different challenges about, I guess you already kind of mentioned about the trying to make things work so they don't dissolve. But what do you find the hardest part about your jewelry making? Most challenging, I guess, with metalsmithing.
Well, that's a really good question. I don't know that I would say any of the technical aspect would be the biggest challenge for me, which is maybe a funny answer since I'm self-taught, but it's like, I think I'm so used to having failures that it's like, well, whatever, I'll just work with it. Setting stones can be challenging because they can crack sometimes, and I work with a very heavy gauge bezel wire that I cut myself in the studio. So it's not sort of a typical thin bezel wire. So I hammer set, and I work with a lot of semi-precious stones that are softer like turquoise. And so that can be a little stressful. But I would say the biggest challenge for me is staying on track with one piece, because I just get, I have all these stones around and I'm always inspired to work like with something different. And so I've got several pieces always on the go at the same time. And, if I'm working on a custom piece that I know has to be this size, has to be this shape, this is the stone the person chose, that can be challenging because, I have to keep on the path of that. So I would say that's my biggest challenge, more so than any of the technical aspects.
So you're in your studio space. Like, do you have tell me about your studio space. Is it a big space? Is it in your home? Like,
I'm sitting in it right now. It's in my spare bedroom.
Oh.
It's, I started accumulating tools, and, it's probably at the point now where I'm outgrowing the space that I'm in, but I'm working with it as best as I can. So I have a soldering station, which is where I do all my soldering and fusing. I really should have a better ventilation system in here. That's on the list of things that needs to happen. Because there are quite, there are fumes, and I do wear a mask when I solder to protect myself from that. But, and then my bench is where, the sawing, cutting, and forming things happens. I've got stations for hammering away. I've got a big anvil. One of my prized possessions is my guillotine press. So it's like a big guillotine for cutting the metal, and that's how I'm able to cut my own bezel wire to the widths that I require from sheet. And then storage for stones and filing cabinets, which need to be organized. But and then this desk that I'm sitting at right now is a new addition as well, because I realized trying to do my taxes this year for the first time for the business, and thought, oh my gosh, I need to sit down somewhere and do this at a proper desk. So I got a desk for my studio.
Oh, with the challenges going on right now with shows being canceled, how do you find selling online?
So my business started as an online only business, because when I started making jewelry, I started posting it on an Instagram account. And that's really how I gained traction to begin with. So I'd say the first few months of my business was strictly online. And then I started getting orders from some local people, family and friends who knew what I was doing and wanted to support me. And so it was only like the summer following. So my business, I started in September of 2018. I did my first show that December, but it was a small one. And then it wasn't really until the following, spring, summer season that I started introducing my work to local people through doing local shows. So I'm definitely feeling the hit of not having the local support. And I really miss the shows because they're a lot of fun. But fortunately, I do have an online platform in place that's stayed relatively not quite as strong as it was last year. But I'm still getting online orders, and I'm doing a lot of custom work actually.
I saw that your website was relaunching again. Is that done, or is that still in the process?
Yeah, so last night it was a shop update. So what I typically do for shop updates is I have a newsletter. So subscribers get access, earlier in the day to the shop update. So they have first dibs at the items that go on there. And then it goes open to the public. So yeah, so it launched last night. And it's all on there. It's up and running, and yeah.
So is that the best place for people to shop right now, is on your website?
Yeah, my website. So that's www.ignis Borealis, IGNISBOREALIS.com. Or you can find me on Instagram at Ignis Borealis, and my website's also linked on there.
That's great. And we can also find you on the Artfest website.
Yeah.
Page, and we had a nice story, but that's great. Thank you so much for coming on and talking with us today.
Sure.
It's nice to hear the story about, the backstory about how jewelry is made. It's a very, very complicated process, and people I don't appreciate how much work it is to make a piece of jewelry. It is an amazing amount of work just to get one piece finished. I know my daughter's a jeweler, so I understand the process.
Yeah.
Much, Lori, and
thank you.
We'll see you soon, and good luck. Take care.
Thanks. Take care, Lori.
There we go. That was our interview with Lori. So beautiful, beautiful work. I love those stones. I just, they look so yummy. I love jewelry. I know sometimes when you go to shows, people say, oh, there's so much jewelry at the show, but you know what? People love jewelry, and you want to have things there that people are going to love. So, and jewelry is one of those things. And every jewelry that we have at the Artfest show, every single one of them is something completely different. When you come to our events, you don't walk around and see the same thing. There's lots and lots of variety, and everybody has their own technique and their own look and their own materials. So it's really, really great. So thanks, Lori, for that. That was wonderful. for all that detail. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about the Distillery District again. Last year, we started something new. So for the artists, we had a competition, sort of a competition. It was basically an award for the best artist at the show. And this was a new idea that came from Matthew Rosenblatt, who's the marketing director from the Distillery District. And he thought it'd be fun to do something, and they're the ones that offered up the award. It was a nice size award. It was $500 cash to the winner. So when we talked about what the award would be for, wasn't just about the work and the painting or whatever the art was. It was the whole package. You know, what the artwork was like, what the booth was like, the display, their presentation, their salesmanship, their interaction with the public, their website, their marketing, their materials that they had on them, their pricing, at the whole kit and caboodle. And so the jurors that we had spent a lot of time at the show, walking the show and talking to all the artists, and the artists didn't know who they were. And then they made their decisions. So it was a pretty neat thing. It's hard for me to watch because it's like I don't know, you don't want to play favorites, but there was something. I'm just going to show you here. So we had two, go back to sharing my screen here. So we had two people last year. And the first one was Tony Taylor Art. So I'm just going to go here and show you. Tony Taylor does amazing illustrations, political commentaries, I'd say. That's what we call them. And what do you say? But you can see who these, we know who these people are. But he does these great characters. This wonderful, wonderful work. Very, very, very talented. He's went to the Ontario College of Art as well. He's a graduate from there. And he also has a master's in painting from the University of London, England, actually. So, and his work is clever. He actually paints them and prints them onto a plywood birch background, which does a couple of things. It gives it a really nice, clean look, and also gives a continuity to his presentation. So it's part of when you talk about, the whole package, it all just really works together as a collection and makes a really strong statement. So it's easy to look through them and select which one would be your favorite. As you can see, you can visit Tony's, I'm just going to go here. You can visit his website here. Right now we're in the Artfest blog, and each one of our artists here has a page. And in the page, we give a lot of background information about each artist, the story, and then a link to their website. So you can just go over here to Tony's website. Tony's also he's won many awards, very, very talented. There he is there. Works hard. He's a guy who does a lot of shows every year. He probably does like 30 shows, I think. But I encourage you to go to his website and shop. Like I've been saying every day, nothing makes an artist happier than selling a piece of work online. So it's Tony Taylor Art. So he won the first award in the May show last year. He was so tickled and so pleased. He was just absolutely blown away by it. And it was really nice. It was really nice to give him that money, and he deserves it. He deserves it. So and then in the September show, we went through the same process for we have a show on Labor Day weekend at the Distillery. Hopefully this year, maybe we're having it. We don't know yet. I'm hoping we're having it. But the artist that was chosen for that award was Jeannie Kim. And Jeannie Kim is a painter, another lovely young woman. And here she is. Here's her work here. And this is a notice that Marianne's having problems with internet at her house. So Facebook, we're streaming live on Facebook. So we'll try to get those comments going again. If we drop off for a bit, we're just having a some kind of issue with the internet here. So not at my house, we're still fine. But at Mary Ann's virtual studio. So here we have, make sure I got this shared right. Here we go, share that again. Make sure I got the right screen. Gets confusing here. All right, so here we are with Jeannie Kim. Beautiful, beautiful paintings, illustrations. And Jeannie's originally from South Korea. And she does these lovely illustrations of patterns. You can see the detail, and they're very story-like. You get a sense about with her work that there's a story there, and multi-layered. So we always wonder what's going through her mind when she does these paintings. And here we have, up here we have the whales, and we know whales communicate, but this almost looks like another language, but it's also all the star constellations from the sky. So I'm not sure if they're in a performance and there's a chair, imagine sitting in it. I'm not sure if that was what her intent was, but you can see some other ones here. Let's get some bigger pictures so you can see them a bit more closely. But you can see the detail here and the patterns, and just so delightful. And I've known Jeannie for quite a while. When she first started the shows, her paintings were, I guess they weren't quite as complex. They were more of the girl. You always see the girl's face as kind of her core, what's going on in her mind. They weren't as rich in story as they are now. Here we have a cat. It looks like the Cheshire cat. What's he up to? Got whales, got a clothesline with a clock, bunny rabbits, flowers. I know many of us, when in our minds, we have all kinds of things going on at once. I'm sure you do as well. This is sort of an illustration of that. So let's have a little look here. Here we go again. Here we got some other beautiful illustrations. Just lovely colors. And Jeannie Kim, when she got this award last September, she cried, actually. She was just so happy to get it. This is a nice thing that some art festivals do. I mean, the Toronto Outdoor Art Exhibition's coming up in July. One of our favorite shows of the year. I'm sure, all the artists there are going online too. They're having an online exhibition, so I hope that they're successful. And they have great support from the city and from sponsors, and there's a lot of prizes that they give the artists, which is just fantastic. I really applaud what they do there. Do a couple more pieces here. Here she is sleeping, the trees, dreaming. There's a chair. She has a lot of images that repeat. There's the bunny rabbits again, and the chair, and the flowers, and the whales. Love this cat tree. There's the cat there in the tree again. Bunnies. Beautiful, beautiful work. So that's Jeannie Kim. So Jeannie Kim's website. Again, you just go to her blog page in our website, and you can go and see everything on Jeannie Kim's website. Here you can go shopping. You can see all the events. Everybody has their events up here. Look at all the events that she does every year. But Mother Tree, there she is. This is her doing her work here. The details. So it's nice to talk about the artists and tell their stories and show what they do. So anyways, that's what we wish you could do a lot more awards like that for the artists. It's a wonderful thing to be able to do, and I applaud all their shows that are able to do that too. It's great. So I'm just gonna put that off. So some of the artists that are in our shows don't actually have an online presence very much, or some of them do, and they have a really hard time with that piece of it. So what do we do? What do they do when there's a situation like this? Basically, you have to call them, and you can usually link them through our Artfest website. I'll just show you how to get a hold of some of these people. but there's a couple of artists I just wanted to mention. Duncan Mcdonald with Celtic stone sculpture. You can just go to his page now. I'm just going to show you and just share the screen again here. So Duncan's actually from a native of Scotland initially, and he carves all these out of clay originally, then can cast them in concrete, and then he's in stone, and then he stains them all and polishes them all. And these actually are considered what he calls clan badges, and they're about, it's hard to tell in this picture, but they're about, I'd say about 8 or 10 inches wide. And he does a lot of things for different families. So here's, see if I can get a better picture there, the detail. And he was telling me that, here's one of the Celtic knots, telling me that, you know, when he has a book that he has at his shows where people can actually request to have their own family clan badge made. And so he can't always, you know, he can't accommodate everybody with that. It's just because there's so many families, but he's got all the, you know, he's got all the main family names done. But he was just saying to me that this has been a great time for him in a way, being in the studio for the last month, because he's been able to actually go through his book and start creating some of these these badges that people have been asking him to do for a long, long time. So that's kind of a neat thing. But Duncan, he hasn't got a website that works. He lives up in the middle of nowhere, doesn't have access to internet really. And so if you want to get a hold of Duncan, you can email me and I can put you in touch with Duncan. And you can always get a hold of us on our website under our contact page, and we're easy to find here. And another artist, let's go back here, another artist that doesn't have really much of a presence that we just love in our events. I'm just going to go to our May exhibitors page here. So if you go to our May show under the Toronto tab on our website, artfestontario.com, this is where you can see all the artists that are exhibiting the show. They said some have got great websites, some of them don't, some of them are on our website, and other, but you can always go through us to track them down because I have all their contact information. They would love to hear from you if you're having trouble tracking them down. I do get people asking me all the time looking for an artist. So I usually can email right away. So I'm just going to share the screen again here. So at the top of the Toronto, I'm just going to repeat that again since I didn't have the screen on, the May exhibitors page, which is where we are right now. You can scroll down, everybody see everybody that's there. Lots of wonderful pieces of art, lots of variety, as you can see, paintings and photography and pottery and glass and wonderful, wonderful work. There's Duncan's piece there. But I was just looking for Carnival of Kitsch. So Kathryn makes beautiful, fun stuff. She takes fabric, the vintage fabrics that you probably recognize as drapery, upholstery pieces, curtains, all kinds of things, old things. And she reworks everything and makes these great, great items with them right from scratch. So she has bags and neckties, and one of our most popular pieces is the eyeglass holders. And these are fantastic. These belts with pouches, she makes those out of recycled leather. There's her booth, so much fun. She's a character too. Like she dresses like in a carnival kind of a, not like a clown, but like that, not that way, but she wears, you know, old bandanas and she looks the part, and she has a beautiful handmade sign, a picture, you know, made sign. There's her booth there. There she is working at her sewing machine. But then again, she's another artist that does not really have too much of an online presence at the moment. So if you want to get anything from Kathryn, and probably some of you are customers of hers, that, you know, maybe we're planning on buying something at Artfest at the show this time, and we're thinking, oh, you pick up another little piece, a belt or a pouch or something, and you don't know how to get a hold of her, just give me a shout and we'll get you hooked up with Kathryn. Just wanted to mention that about some of the artists. Oh, now I wanted to do our daily kids activity. So I'm going to take you over to the kids page. Sabrina Parrish has been is our Artfest programmer for the kids, and she's made up one of these every day. Took her a lot of time, like she told me that, you know, it was a lot of fun doing it and also a lot of work to get these ready every day and get them all staged and get them filmed, and then you do all the editing, get the music, get the, you know, the lesson ready. So let's just go there and have a look at, share my screen again and see what we have for today with the kids, Artfest Kids. Here. Under a Toronto tab, here we have Artfest Kids. So we've got all our little videos up here. We're doing one every day. So today's video, the first one we're going to watch is, go on full blast here, and here we go. There we go. Awesome. Fun stuff. So many great things you can do with kids right now with art activities. You know, just make it simple. You know, these are just to give people ideas and inspire them to do an art activity. All the projects that she's designed are simple materials around the house and lots of fun to do. You can go over to our website, artfestontario.com, to the kids tab again under Artfest Kids Toronto, and rewatch those videos anytime you want. So hope you get to try them out. All right, let's see here. So the next artist I have up on our screen here is, I want to talk about, is one of my favorite categories, which is pottery. I love pottery. I don't know how about you are, but I collect pottery. I've got tons of it here, and I don't have a whole set of anything really. I've got I collect pieces from all the artists and have a wide selection. I love bowls. I love mugs. I've got all kinds of fun things of pottery here. Just love pottery. So potters are dear to my heart. And Jonathan Harper is one of our potters. He does our May Toronto show, and he would normally be there. He's got a huge slate of shows as well. He does mainly sells at shows. So he has a good website though too, which I'll show you. And but he's a guy who likes to sell in person, where you can touch the pottery and feel it. He's a real hands-on kind of, works with his hands. He really appreciates that. So I'm just going to share our screen again and show you some Jonathan Harper pottery. So Jonathan uses, it's sort of inspired by almost like a basketry kind of a patterns and rhythms and block printing. So he has a nice unique style. Lots of patterns, but not overdone. And the thing that I find really neat about Jonathan's work is that he's explored a lot of different color schemes and color themes, but they all work together. You can see, like, he's got over here, he's explored things with blues, he's explored things with like this a peachy color and that color. He's done greens, he's done lots of different things, and they all work together. Like you see that with this set here, you could buy a whole set of one color, but you can also mix and match. So his entire collection works really, really nicely together. So you can even see here the 4 little bowls, all the different colors available. You have lots of options there. He does oil lamps, teapots. I have one of his teapots that I was given as a gift, thanks to my partner Al, which I love. And so this, with Jonathan and as a potter, when you're always making new items, you continue building your collection. So, and you can keep adding to it for years. So I always encourage anybody who's starts to buy pottery, just keep adding a piece every year to your collection, and then you can gradually build a beautiful, beautiful set. And also the potters appreciate that. I know Jonathan has a lot of repeat customers. They come to the shows just to pick up a few more pieces. So I'm just going to go over to his website here so you can see what he's up to. There's a nice, beautiful detail on his plates with his texture. He uses mainly like a wire loop kind of thing to carve everything out, and then he does all the painting. And you can see here with the nice variety of things here. There's birds, canister sets, beautiful plates. If you look at it, look at this tab here, look at his show schedule here. Look at all the shows that he has booked for the summer. And I don't know how that's gonna work out for him, but I really encourage you to I really encourage you to shop on his website, and even though you can't be there for his to see him at the show, please visit and make his day. So that's another artist that I really like to collect. So one day I'll show you my pottery collection. I'll show you my cupboard. It's pretty amazing. I use my bowls every day. I use my mugs every day. I just love pottery. So I don't know whether you've ever met Scott Wilke from Wilke Watchworks. He's a real master at what he does. He's got, imagine being able to build a watch from scratch. He builds these watches from scratch and has beautiful, beautiful designs. So I'm just going to show you some of his work. And get over to my screen again. Here we go. Like, look at these beauties here. Absolutely stunning. So he uses all kinds of, he cuts all these designs and all these little pieces in here. This is where the artist really adds in the scrolls and all the machinery. So when you own one of his watches, you can see the working of the watch. Everyone is, completely unique. And he's an artist that, we've watched evolve over the years. I've known Scott for quite a while, and it's just amazing what his design skills now and just how sharp he makes everything look. It's just absolutely beautiful, beautiful things. So these are pretty special. So he's normally at the show with us as well. We'll just head over to his website here. Have a little bit look around at his website. Here we go. And he does a lot of custom work. So here you say, still open for business, designing, building, and shipping watches despite these challenging times, Scott Wilke. So he's really encouraging people to shop for his watches. You can, request special things, special details, special colors, and then he'll make that up for you. So, stop my sharing in here. Here I'm back here. So we've been doing this show now for 5 days, and it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of work, a lot of challenges. I'm new at this. Like I've said at the beginning, I'm kind of like, I feel like I'm a host in training, and I've been really enjoying it though. And my goal was to I just wanted to try and be myself when I was on here. I wasn't, I'm not a slick producer. I'm not a trained broadcaster. I just wanted to be myself, be Lory MacDonald, and share with you the things that I know about Artfest and about, our family and our family of exhibitors, our shows and our fun and all the stuff that we do together. And so we're coming up to we have 3 more days left, but we've had an amazing reaction to the event. I've had some fantastic feedback. Thank you so much to everybody who's actually been able to watch. So what we're thinking about doing is wondering if you might be interested in if we carry this idea forward and did a weekly broadcast every week. I don't know what day would work. We can talk about that maybe tomorrow. You can send in your ideas. Is an hour too long? Should we do shorter? But every week we could do a feature, a few artists or maybe one, and talk about the shows and do some fun things together. We're always got lots to say. It seems I always have a lot to say about the shows. So I'm going to do a poll. I'm just going to put this up here, and you'll see it on the Zoom. I'm not sure if our Facebook is going back up again or not. Sure if Marianne's back or not, but please, if on Facebook, write it in, send a message, put it in chat, put it in the comments. We'll have a look at it all and see what everybody thinks about doing the idea and carrying this on forward again, because that would be a lot of fun. So it looks like 100% of our people on Zoom are saying that yes to carrying on. So that's good. That's a good start. So we can talk about more about that. Maybe tomorrow we'll see. Think about when we might want to have it on. Do we, during the afternoon is maybe not a good time at 2 o'clock. We're busy, we're working. Maybe we do it at, in the evening. Maybe do it at 7 o'clock. We do it on Tuesdays or whatever day might work best for people. I'd like to hear from our audience. So we're just wrapping things up here today. I've got one more little thing I wanted to share with you before we just get it up here. Is this the right one? Yeah. Hang on. Share our screen one more time, and thought we'd do another little stroll around the Distillery District. Make sure I share my screen properly this time. There we go. And see what we're missing here.
Distillery, and they will discuss about that, and
I'll get back to my boots here.
How are you?
Good, how are you? So that's a nice way to end our show today, having another little sneak peek at the Distillery District. And we'll be back tomorrow again at 2 o'clock. I hope you can join us. Hang on here for a second. Things going crazy on my other screen. I hope you can join us again tomorrow, and we'll have some more special guests on. We've got some interviews. We're having some live music tomorrow. Andy's going to come back. Andy Griffith is coming back tomorrow to play some of his adult tunes. So the other day he was on showing us his kids songs. Now he's going to do some of his adult songs. Hope you can join us. We'll be on live on Facebook at 2 o'clock, and we'll be live on Zoom. So free to join, share your friends, share the link. Anybody can sign in. You don't need a password. And we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for coming today. I'm Lory MacDonald, host of Artfest Online from Artfest, Ontario. Have a great evening. Take care. Bye.